there, comic fans. It is time for me to do some reviews. I have to tell you, this was not an exceptionally good week. You've probably already seen my review of Batman 77. And if you haven't, watch it. And let's just say I wasn't too happy with it. It's probably not my best attempt at a review, but at least it was honest. So I'm going to do a couple here, and I will do each one after this. And I'm back. Alright, first one I'm going to do right now is Batman Year One, Issue 2. Now, the Daredevil run. Haven't read it, but I heard it's exceptional. Batman Dark Knight Returns. Incredible. Batman Year One. Awesome. 300. Didn't read it. Heard it's awesome. Heard mixed reviews on that other series that he did that they turned into a movie. Sorry, I can't remember it right now. But then you have the other two Batman Returns series. You have All-Star Batman and some of the other stuff that Frank Miller has done, which just shows that he's gone batshit crazy. So, then you get the announcement that he's going to do Superman Year One for the DC Black Label run. And I'm like, all right. This could tip the balance. He's had some good stuff. He's had some bad stuff. I picked up the first issue, did both covers, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't on the second and third Dark Knight series. It wasn't, I'm the goddamn Batman, I'm the goddamn Batman from All-Star Batman. Even though I would have loved to have seen Superman say that. Still a chance for this. But it wasn't anywhere near as good as Batman Year One. Some of my issues with this is I think he's lost the whole concept of what Year One means. Year One is pretty self-explanatory. It's the first year that a superhero spends as a superhero. You have Batman Year One. We all know Batman's origins. Batman Year One is him going from when he first decides to don the cowl, the first year. Makes sense. It doesn't mean start at the damn beginning, cover, 15, 16, 17 years in the first issue, and then, a few months or whatever in the second. Ending with him becoming Superman in like the last few pages of the second issue. Doesn't make any sense. Or at least, Two, I really don't know what he's thinking. This comic is just bad. It's not bad, but I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, he obviously hasn't done much research, or he didn't think it through. So you have, the first issue was, odd, weird, and it leaves off with him going off to join the Navy. Cool. Which it seems a little strange to me to begin with, because if you know anything about the military, if you know anything about boot camp or the military in general, you realize that you're going to get a physical, you're going to get shots, you're going to get all types of stuff. And hey, people are going to figure out dude's not normal. Now, I was in the Navy, so I understand something about the Navy. I understand something about boot camp, having gone through it myself. He solved a certain couple problems by just skipping over things. The physical. Alright. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Fine. I can sort of understand that, but there's little things in here like, him getting his hair cut and the barber saying they've gone, you've got really tough hair here. You've gone through, 3 razors. It's coming out of your paycheck. They'd never say anything like that. They'd never do anything like that. That's stupid. I can understand people who have never gone through boot camp not knowing how the company commanders, that's what the Navy calls drill instructors, would act, what they'd say to people. But, let's just try and not make it so damn cliched as he did in this one. It was horribly cliched. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Calling everybody girls. And there's at one point, one of the guys calls, I don't know if it was Clark, one of the other guys, soldiers. No. You would never refer to somebody who was in Navy boot camp or in BUDS, which is the SEALs, which he goes into later, as a soldier. Soldier and sailor, 2 different things. And it's just attention to detail. That is something the military teaches you, and something as a writer you should also do. Pay a little bit of attention to detail. You've got things like the drill instructor, company commander. They keep calling him captain, which in the Navy is what is referred to as a full bird. What all the other services call a colonel, who is someone very high up. You wouldn't have an officer, be in charge of boot camp. This guy on his collar, wore an anchor, which means that he is a chief, which is an E7. An enlisted person, you don't call an enlisted person an officer's rank. This would be chief. So it's just stuff that just, if you did any research whatsoever or asked somebody, you'd know that this is just completely wrong. I don't know if that's the Ramada Jr.'s fault for the way it was drawn, or Frank Miller's fault for whatever it was, but it's just bad. It's just mistakes that shouldn't have been made. Now let's move on to other things. You have him, Clark, sneaking out of the barracks in boot camp at night. Boot camp, you're sleeping in the bunks. You have a guy You always have somebody standing guard for fire watch. 2 things, just in case something, fire does happen. And also just to keep track of what's going on. There's no way someone could sneak out of the barracks, let alone off base, without being noticed. Yet Clark does this. It's just bad storytelling. You have his captain, as he calls it, who's the chief, who catches Clark standing out on the stairwell, doesn't happen to say anything about, dude, get the fuck back in Iraq, you're not supposed to be out here, and is just having a little conversation with him about the mermaids that they happen to see out in the ocean, as they're looking out over the Pacific Ocean from the San Diego base. I don't know much about the San Diego base, but I'm not 100% positive. You can see the ocean from there, but it's maybe I'm being a little too, being a little too critical about this due to my experience on this, but it's just not very good. And I guess this whole Black Label thing is Elseworld, but it's Clark dealing with mermaids and Poseidon, and that's where he in Atlantis, that's where he gets the moniker of Superman and his outfit. I don't know if this is a reference back to the John Byrne run where, Superman falls in love with a mermaid, because this has something to do with it. I don't know. The first issue was okay. This one just seems to be Frank Miller being Frank Miller, but on something, because it's completely whack. It's just, wow. I'm going to give this like a 2 out of 5, and that's just being generous, because he gave me a ride, man. I'm just like, dude, I don't know what, I wanted to know what he was thinking, what he was smoking when he wrote this, or drinking when he wrote this. And just out of morbid curiosity, I'm going to get the next one just to see where he goes with this. Because it's, oh man, I'm telling you, I still have to sit here and say John Byrne's reinvention is the number one. Straczynski's Earth 1 or Earth 2, whatever it is, origin story is the second best. And this one, even though I can't give it any higher than a 2. I shouldn't even give it a 2. It should be lower, because it should be year 1. But I'm going to give it a 2 just because, yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think, and keep reading comics.